So you guys, this is an update on urine as fertilizer. This has been a hell of a last month, and I've kept up with the fertilization. However, I've had to move these plants several times, and I said I wasn't going to do that this year. But we had multiple days over 100 degrees, and I was going out of town, so I had to move them into an area where they could make sure to get watered appropriately. Anyway, it's been a mess. I think I've moved them all 5 or 6 times. So that is what it is. So let's go over the plants today and take a look at what's going on here. So these are the hot peppers. I've got the control, commercial, urine, and urine with wood ash. And let's see, the control, like usual, isn't quite as green as the commercial or the urine, so it's not as green as the fertilized plants, but it is setting fruit. It's set a fruit, and that's been a big comment people have been leaving me, saying urine is great, but you're not going to get any fruit set. But yes, we are, and we have, and I'll show it to you in the tomatillos and the tomatoes especially. Right, so here's the commercial plant. And it is just slightly shorter than the control, but it's greener, it's bushier, and we have lots of small budding happening, but no fruit yet. And here's a bud that's open. And I have been collecting peppers from another kind of a pepper plant, not this particular one. This is a one I saved from seeds, so they should be coming anytime now, except, you know, we did see it on the control. However, we're also seeing fruit set on the urine with wood ash. Actually, there's even a bigger fruit in the back there, if you can see it. Alright, so here's the urine, just the plain urine one, and I think that is the tallest, and I think it's the greenest. I think is the urine with wood ash. I don't know, what do you guys think? But they're all looking very healthy. I guess that's a good point. They're all looking healthy. They're all flowering. We have fruit set in urine with wood ash and control. So far, so good. But definitely some fertilization is better than no fertilization. But again, the difference between the Miracle-Gro commercial and the urine and urine with wood ash, I mean, if you were just looking at these 3 plants, I think you would say this one and this one are the healthiest, with this one being in 3rd place. That's what I would say, and this is the Miracle-Gro plant. But that's just one example. Let's go over to the tomatillos. Okay, so these have gotten crazier. They got so big at one point that the limbs were breaking and falling over, so I had to put sticks in, and I tied some of the plants off. Luckily, I got some in time to put some cages on. Alright, so where are we? This is the commercial, the control. Again, light colored. It has a lot of set fruit, but it's just not quite as healthy. I did need to stake it and to tie it, and I actually need to come up and do that again. But it's not as full and bushy. Here is the commercial, and it is a big plant. I don't know if you can see, it's actually falling over into its buddy next door. It also has set fruit, and it's still actively flowering, but man, these got so hot, I thought they were going to die. Alright, so that looks good. It's big, it's bushy. This middle one is the urine plant. And I know it's hard to see in here, you guys, so please forgive me, but this is by far the strongest one. See how big and thick the stalks are. Again, I had to put wire support in here and sticks and tie it off, and it's still going strong. Also setting lots of fruit, and it looks good, and it's by far the tallest of the plants. See, it goes all the way up to here. So that's geez, I'm 5'9", so it's as tall as I am. This one is the urine with wood ash. A little more ganglier. The central stalk is nice and thick, I think. It's a good looking stalk. Again, I've had to tie it and stake it. and it has set fruit on it as well, and lots of blooms coming out everywhere. They're beautiful, the Tomatillo blooms. They're yellow with black inside. Oh yeah, here's one, close up one for you. So overall, on this one, I think the control, of course, is, you know, it's just water and love, and that's not great. Here comes Sarah to check it out. Commercial's doing really well. It actually, you know, hey, it's not so bad. It's just not quite as thick or as strong as the other plants are, but we're setting fruit, and the color, I think, is a little off. I don't know, you tell me. The Urine by itself, as last year, is doing the best on its own for strength and height. And then the Urine with wood ash, again, it's, you know, it's good, it's strong. It's about on par with the commercial, I'd say. Wouldn't you? But we're going to continue. Again, I went up in pot size this year to larger pots. I think next year what I'm going to need to do is put these in the ground. It just gets too unwieldy when they get tall like this. And of course, these are indeterminate. These particular tomatillos, and my tomatoes are indeterminate, so they're just going to keep growing. But yeah, let's go over and take a look at that. So overall, commercials at the last, I would say Urine is the best, and maybe tied for second is Urine with wood ash with commercial. But you know, you tell me what you think. All right, over to the tomatoes. All right, so with this one, we've kind of had a little bit of a catastrophe with the Urine plant. It got so big and tall that it kept falling over, and now I think it's plain just dying. But it's still flowering, so I need to figure out. I tried to tie it off, but I need to do more staking or something. Again, all the plants got hit by the heat really hard, so I need to come in and trim off as well. But you know what, just to show you, we've got good fruit set. This is just the Urine plant. But let's go through these in order. So this is the commercial, control, too many C's. This is the control plant, obviously more anemic looking than the others, and it's by far the shortest. It has a lot of fruit on it though. This one does need, God, I really want to fertilize it. I feel bad not fertilizing it, but that's part of the game. So it's fruiting out pretty early, pretty aggressively. This one is Urine with wood ash. Lots of flowers. And let's see here. Some fruit set. But not, oh no, I take it back. There's red in there, and in the back here, can you see that? Nope, in the back there. Jeez, I don't even think you can see that, but anyway, there's some in the back. The plain Urine, a lot of fruit set, and by far the tallest, but it's gone so wonky on me. I don't know, I'll try to figure something out. And this is the commercial. So we did have, you know, a lot of stuff die, and I need to come through and trim these up. Actually, maybe that's just what I'll do right now, is trim these up, and then we'll come back and talk about it. Alright, so we did a lot of trimming up here, and I think the Urine tomato plant just was not getting enough water. It was between all these and the huge sunflowers over it. It's just since I gave them all a really good soak here. The commercial, you can see, is dripping wet, and this has already started perking back up again. And of course I did a lot of trimming on all of these, and yeah. So anyway, back to which looks best. The control has by far the most tomatoes on it, although it looks the worst in color. But you know what? Yeah, the color. I mean, look at this color compared to that color. This is Urine with wood ash. Yep, Urine with wood ash. Urine and commercial. So the commercial, the color is definitely not as good. But I'd say the fruit set is about the same. With the, well, no, on all of them, because this one has a lot of red tomatoes in here too. All right, so once again, I'm going to say control is last, commercial is third, with the urine and urine with wood ash with first and second, and it's because of the color. If it gets dark green, maybe it'll green up. We'll see, but overall, I think the production is the same. At some point, I should probably weigh how much I get off of each plant. That would be interesting, wouldn't it? They're all the same plant. They're genetic clones to each other because I collected the seeds myself last year or so. They're like literally the same plant. All right, well, it's a July update. And yeah, we'll see you in a few weeks. All right, you guys, so now we're a full week later. It's near the end of July, and the plants did really well reacting to the pruning. So let's look again at our control plant. Color obviously bad, lots of fruit though. And this one is urine with wood ash, nice green high fruit, and lots of green fruit. This one, I think it's going to be done early, producing all of its fruit and finish early, but it still has some down there, so we'll see. This is just urine. Again, I think it's the tallest plant yet, and good fruit set, so we're good there. I'm going to pick the fruit and put it down in a little container here so we can look at it. And then this is the commercial, and I think you can tell the leaves are more yellow than those two plants are. But again, good fruit set, right? Goes all the way around the plant. But let's look at what it looks like when we have the fruit picked in front of the plant. All right, here we are with the fruit picked. Now this is pretty telling, isn't it? Here's the commercial. We have a pretty good amount in a container here. This is urine. Not very much, but I think this plant is still growing. I think it's still flowering. I think it's going to be a late fruiter. But, you know, some fruit, but I still think it's going to be late. This is the urine with wood ash. Has even less, but again, it's bigger, it's greener, and it's still setting fruit, but it doesn't have as much fruit. But I think the commercial and the control are doing the best as far as fruit production. However, this plant's going to die in the near future. Just as an aside, here's another tomato I have that's in this big above ground. This is one tomato above ground bed here, and it's flowering, but it hasn't even set much fruit yet. It's just early in the season here in Oregon. Let's walk over here and take a look at. These are the same type of tomato that I have over in those containers, and they're also not setting fruit yet. Well, they're not setting fruit. The other ones are, probably because they're warmer in there. They're getting more sun. I really need to come in and trim these. But so anyway, that's a comparison. So next, let's come over and check out the tomatillos. Now we have urine with wood ash here. Huge plant, gigantic plant. Just the urine is by far the biggest plant, and we have lots of fruit on these plants. Commercial's also a good-sized plant. Colors about the same on these two. The urines, though, are by far the tallest, but the commercial's no slouch. It's doing good, and it's got some of its fruit. See how this one is kind of yellow compared to, like, this one? Which means this one's ripe. It's ready to be picked. The skin is, let me show you. The skin is thin and starting to tear a little bit. And then this is the control, which is, as usual, you know, it's the skinniest and least impressive, but hey, why don't we, again, pick the fruit and put it into little containers out front, and let's take a look at that. Alright, back in action again. So, commercial is there. So this is a control. You've got one good size. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This one was on the ground, but it was right here, so I'm going to throw it into this basket. So we've got that many, and we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 7 more, 8 to go. This is the commercial, and we got 2 good baskets full. Some of these are gigantic, that's great. And we still have 1. Oh, and some blooms. Blooms are coming on, so that's good. Urine, empty. Urine with wood ash, empty. Again, this plant is just, they're behind the pots, but they're going at the same speed as the containers are. We'll go over and look at that in a minute. But for example, here's just the urine plant. You can see we have all these, but if you push in on the paper, you'll see the tomatillo, when it's ready to be picked, will fill up the whole husk, and the husk will generally start to change color, and it's bursting out of it. So if there's still, the paper's too big, like an oversized shirt, then you don't want to pick it. But we have many fruits here, lots and lots of fruits. They're just not big enough yet, right? Same thing with the urine with wood ash. We got the fruits, but they're just coming along in their own time, right? And then lots and lots of early blooms still happening, so these will still get pollinated and grow into fruit. However, with the control plant, got 1 bloom here, a couple up here, but it's like the control and the commercials are coming out of the gate fast and hard, but then they're lacking in longevity. But we'll have to see if that, proves to be true. Like when this urine one is finished growing, let's look at the control we used. It's going to put these to shame if they fill out and indeed come to full maturity, which I think they will. But let's go look at some in some big containers and compare. Alright, so we're over here at the stock tanks, and you can see these plants just getting started here. These are all real loose, none ready to be picked. Still good blooms, so that's a tomato. Still good blooms, and yeah, they're just moving along at their own pace, which is more like the fertilized ones. And these, of course, are fertilized with different kinds of fertilization. Here's another one, see, it's coming along at its own pace. So these are more like the fertilized ones in the pots. But we still have one more to check, right? Let's go look at the hot peppers. Alright, and finally we're over here at the Pimento, the hot pepper plants. Hot sweet pepper plants. These are beautiful. I love these peppers. They're small, round. They're called like a cherry pepper too. They'll get red or stay green. And they're hot and sweet. And you wrap a piece of prosciutto around a good piece of Parmesan cheese and stuff it in there, and then pickle this in a mixture of olive oil and vinegar. Oh my God. To die for. Alright. Here's my control. Here's my commercial. Urine, and urine with wood ash. This one's a little peaked. I think the sprinkler has been missing it, so I just watered all these pots to get this one to peak back up again while we're talking here. Alright, so as usual, the commercial lags behind. It's a little yellow. It's kind of skinny. It's fine, but it's not what these other plants are with this dark green foliage. So let's just take this leaf from this plant and look at it compared to this plant, right? And even that leaf compared to this leaf, I think this is darker. This leaf compared to this leaf should be the same plant. And this one, wow, tired and droopy, I actually think this plant has got a darker leaf with the wood ash. So none of these peppers are ready to be picked yet. So let's look at the control. We've got a good sized pepper here, 1, 2,